Hello there, today we're going to discuss how physical media is objectively superior to digital media. Digital media is more convenient, and it's very impressive how far it's come, but it all falls apart after a few seconds. If you delete that media and then it gets removed, boom, you've lost it forever, which recently, I think some things, even if you still have it downloaded, you'd lose it. At least with paying for a streaming service, you've kind of got that risk versus reward, because you know things are going to get removed, you know new things are going to get added, you always have options. Whereas actually purchasing digital media, it can be quite the gamble. I mean, it's unlikely that it's going to get removed, but you never know. But let's not waste time, it's time to get into this video. I'm going to be going over the pros and the cons of digital and physical media. Probably mostly the cons of digital, and then the pros of physical, which for most of them it's going to be the same couple things, but I'm just going to mention them anyway. So as I mentioned in my intro and my popular shows I never watched video, content you purchase can be removed. As I'd mentioned, I kind of wanted to watch Smiling Friends but had nowhere to watch it, was comparing prices and realised it had been removed from Amazon Prime. I assume the people who had it downloaded at least got to keep it. I really hope that the people who purchased it and didn't have it downloaded still get to watch it, because that's like $20 down the drain. Okay, I googled it. Apparently you should still be able to watch even if you didn't have it downloaded, which is really handy to know. But if it comes down to licensing issues, it may have been completely removed, which I think Smiling Friends was a licensing thing, because I'd heard something about switching for season 2 with something. Like, I don't know specifically what it was, but I know I was getting ads for it, and the ads were mentioning, oh, you can find us here now, which I feel like that was advertising for Apple TV, even though Apple TV always had it purchasable, so nothing really changed other than it was removed from Amazon. Which I guess if you can still watch it, that is a blessing, but I don't know the specifics on specific shows. And you can definitely encounter similar problems with physical media, because you could lose it or break it, but that's on you. If you've bought something and it just gets taken away from you, that would just feel extremely unfair. I had a similar issue with Harley Quinn, and it wasn't even that the show was removed. I don't know what happened. So coming fresh off of season 5, I wanted to rewatch season 1. But Max was coming to my country in 2 weeks, so it was suddenly removed from the service it was actually, streaming on. I didn't really want to wait 2 weeks, so I remembered I had purchased season 1 on Apple TV, and I was like, oh yeah, let's go watch that. I had deleted the versions I'd downloaded 2 years ago, but as long as the show wasn't removed, I should have been able to watch it, right? Right? Well, no, I opened Apple TV, searched the show, and it was giving me prices, and I was like, that's weird. So I clicked on specific episodes. It's still just giving me individual episode prices now, and I'm like, ooh, this probably isn't good. At this point, it was seeming like my only options were to pay the $26.50 for the season, or wait 2 weeks until I've got Max. So I end up scrolling through my purchase history, find my purchase of season 1, and I'm like, okay, this is good. I can maybe send this off to Apple and, maybe they'll give me the content back or a refund. I decide to check one last time, so I open Apple TV, go to Harley Quinn, suddenly I can watch the show. I don't know if finding the purchase actually changed something and it suddenly remembered, but I didn't have to email Apple or anything. I could suddenly watch my show again, so I wasn't fussed. And I had tried everything. I'd hit restore purchase, I'd opened and closed the app, I'd tried on different devices, it just kept giving me prices. So I feel like finding the purchase actually did do something. This is terrifying, because if it happens to someone else, they might not even think to look for purchase history, they might not even remember that they watched the show through Apple, and they might fork over the $26.50, or the relative price to whatever they're planning to watch. Hopefully Apple has something in place to stop duplicate purchases, because I know Nintendo does, but Apple's not Nintendo, so you can't guarantee anything. Again, if you had a DVD, this wouldn't be a problem. You could break your DVD or lose it, and you'd have to buy a new one, and so be it. That's your fault, you lost it. This is Apple just not having the content ready. But yeah, I decided to look through a couple other shows I knew I'd purchased, but wasn't really interested in watching. It's giving me prices for them. With a couple of them, it does have 2 versions of the episodes, so I did have to double check, and yeah, it was purchasable for both, so I don't know what's going on. And since I wasn't really aiming to watch them, I didn't go to the effort of finding the purchases to see if that is what brings them back. But I guess if people are having similar issues and finding the purchases doesn't work, you can always email Apple, see if their support will do anything. It's just crazy that these problems do arise. And these shows and movies just full aren't in my library anymore. I'm surprised I didn't notice the icons had disappeared. But coming off an offhanded mention of Nintendo, I guess that's a good segue to phone games. Bit random, but yeah, let's go with that. Again, same thing, if you've kept the game downloaded this whole time, you're obviously not going to lose it. Well, you'd think, but with Apple Arcade specifically, if a game is taken off of the arcade, even if you have it downloaded, you open the app, it's like, oh, this game doesn't exist anymore. If you click here, you'll see what other games we have. Which is crazy because other games can be completely removed from the store. You can have them deleted, but if you've kept the icon on your screen, you can click the little cloud icon and get it back. I don't know how to do it anymore, but if you have an iPad as well, you can full find everything you've ever downloaded and get it back. Which, unless it's specifically been requested the app is completely taken down, you shouldn't have an issue getting it back. Like, I think you could even get Flappy Bird back, but it would probably say this version's outdated and you can't play it, but you could get the icon back at least. But with how easy it is to get other games back, I'm surprised a live service will completely remove a game and then restrict your access. Like, what is this? Why am I paying for the service? It honestly just made me stop paying for Apple Arcade because I was playing 2 total games and I was like, the other game isn't even that fun, why am I going to stick around? Okay, I've come into this video very misinformed, I've realised though. I was so ready to rag on console games, thinking the second they're removed you'd lose them forever. And then I've googled it and checked, and you can actually get them back, and I'm like, maybe digital media is not that bad? I mean, I'd still prefer to have the physical game because you never know what's going to happen. And lesser download times and physical games usually end up being cheaper and then taking up less space on your console. But yeah, I think I've been a little harsh on digital media. I still think physical is superior, but I think I've come into this a bit misinformed. Which I guess that's okay, because I had heard at the moment with the disc, you're essentially downloading a digital download code, and then people were upset about that because, a lot of them thought they can just take your game away at any second, but it seems that's not the case. If anything, having the disc with the digital download code, it'd make it a little less convenient, but it seems there's a low risk chance they'll actually take your game away. But still, overall, physical media is more reliable because once a store shuts down, if you do have the game deleted, I'd say that's definitely the book closed. So once the store's closing down, you gotta make sure you have the games you want, and any games you don't want, or are less priority, you just have to leave in the dust if you don't have the physical versions. You could always buy physical versions later, but that's just going to cost you more money. Especially if you're at a point like PS3, a lot of the games are starting to get rare. So yeah, I've seen a lot of people switching back to physical media, which I myself never really left it, mainly because I was misinformed and thought digital media is going to betray me. I was buying the odd game here or there if it was on a really good sale, and I was like, I don't mind if I lose this. Or, the odd movie or show here and there, but I was still scared. I was like, I've forked over $20, I don't want to lose it. Which in some cases, I did. There was a way to get it back, but they don't always make it easy. I definitely support streaming services. They are like a high risk, high reward kind of thing, but they're good because you get a whole array of media. You're basically renting out a whole store for a month. Like back in the day, you'd go to rent a movie and it'd be like $10 for an overnight, then $7 for like a weekly, and it was such a rip. You wouldn't go in and say, I want the whole store for $10 for a month. But yeah, digital media, do you guys like it? Do you hate it? Were you misinformed like me? Do you aim for the convenience or the reliability? Make sure to let me know and I'll probably be back to talk about something else random in a couple months.